Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Boardmasters with me, Chris Mullins, and today I am reviewing Penguin Peril, following on from mine and Alex's gameplay last week, which I will link down below. And this is the latest one in Alex's favourite family game series, and it's a very simple dexterity game, basically. And as ever, I'll cover the usual 5 categories. So that's art style and theme, component quality, accessibility, replayability, and gameplay. And let's dive straight in, because I imagine with this is going to be a quick one. Obviously, with the art style and theme, the theme, when you think about it, it makes no sense, because the loser is the person who chips away the ice to make a penguin fall into cold water, which obviously penguins have no problem with. And in terms of the art style, well, there isn't really any art style. It's just this board with the penguin, which could be a lot cuter. Could be closer to the one on the box, maybe. So it's fine. It doesn't detract from the gameplay. You don't need a theme for this sort of game. It just is what it is. It's just a bit of fun. But yeah, the art style and theme are not what this game is going to be remembered for. Going on to the component quality, that's fine. It could be worse. I mean, the fact that after dozens and dozens of plays, these plastic ice blocks still fit together well, and to be honest, with this sort of game, I would have half expected by now that they would start getting damaged or compressed, and then they wouldn't sit properly, and the game would be dead because you would never be able to get a board set up. So I'm pleasantly surprised with that. The spinner, it's fine. As you saw, if you watch the gameplay, we did have a fair number of times where not able to really spin it properly. It seems to be inconsistent on that, but again, doesn't really detract from the game. And your little chisels do the job. So, considering the price point of this is negligible, I think it was between £5 and £10. The components are actually surprisingly good for what you pay for it and the game that it's in. In terms of accessibility, obviously it couldn't be easier. You flip your spinner, it tells you what colour to chip away, and you pick one and you hit it out. That is the whole game, basically. As I've mentioned, it's a very, very cheap game. It's easy to get hold of. It's in standard retail. Setup and teardown is very quick, because at that point, most of these ice blocks are already on the table. They've been knocked out, so you just stick them in the bag, take the stand apart and put it away. Setting it up does take a bit longer, because obviously you have to get all these ice cubes into the board, and that does probably take almost as long as the game itself, which is a bit of a negative, but yeah, it's not too bad. It could be worse. In terms of the replayability, again, obviously you've got the randomness of the spinner, but other than that, it's the same game every single time. Although how the opponents behave does change it up, because obviously which blocks are being knocked out at which time changes. But again, it's not a game you're going to keep coming back to and getting a different experience. It is Penguin Peril. It is what it is every single time you play it. There's not a great deal unless you enjoy the core game. And coming on to the gameplay, it is really, really fun. It does a good job, similar to Jumanji. It's very basic, quick mechanics, but chipping away at these blocks, you do get the tension as other blocks start falling, and you can start to see things dropping out. And tension for me is always a fun mechanic in a game. You want to have an emotional response, and mild panic is just as valid a response as anything else. And that moment when it does all collapse is fun. You can't escape that. There is fun to be had there. It's not deep, it's not strategic as such. Obviously there are decisions to be made in terms of what blocks you're attacking, but yeah, it is what it is. It is a fine, fun game that I would recommend for anyone with kids. But that's it. don't. I suppose actually, as a drinking game, you could probably have a lot of fun with this. Have a a finger of drink for every cube you knock down, and you have to down it if you drop the penguin. So yeah, I imagine there is fun to be had regardless of what demographic you're in. But that is Penguin Peril. Again, very quick, nice, easy one to review. In terms of score, I probably would give it a 6.5. So obviously the setup is a bit of a pain, and the lack of depth and replayability and stuff obviously counts against it. But it is a fun game. Not quite as fun as Jumanji, but I think Jumanji does a better job of building the tension with the time dice rolls. But it's still a very fun game, and I'll leave the video there. So that is Penguin Peril. So thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself, stay safe, and have a good one. Bye bye now.